And joining us now for more is Mark Feldman, the CEO of the ZionTours agency and a writer on tourist issues. He joins us from Jerusalem. And Mark, as you're making a nice recovery there, but how the prospect of actually getting back to those levels of 3, 4, even over above 4 million tourists, how realistic is that for Israel to attain in the next couple of years?
Look, I think it's realistic. Remember, 2019, we had 4.5 million tourists, okay? Interesting, and let's not forget, 20% came from one country only, the United States. 20%, 1 in 5 tourists comes from the United States. They were the first ones back when we opened the borders, and they have not stopped. The streams of American tourists coming here, congressional delegations nonstop, church groups, federation groups, community groups, has been something we have not seen in over a decade. The numbers have continued to go up, and they will continue to go up. So I don't like forecasting the entire year because we're in early January. And in a country that has had wars and the world that has pandemics, trying to forecast how it will be is hard to really put into numbers. But it looks good. It looks very, very good.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Now, what about what we call the Israel staycation? The Israelis getting in the habit of spending their vacations here in Israel rather than going abroad. You see that as a temporary influence of the coronavirus pandemic, or maybe just a change in the vacation habits of Israelis?
The Israeli disposable income is much greater than I think is really reported. In other words, we're finding people that are staying inside Israel and that are going abroad. We've seen the explosion of Israelis going to Morocco. We've seen an explosion of Israelis going to the United Arab Emirates. These flights are one way. They're filled with Israelis. We're not going to see an influx of Moroccan tourism here. We're not going to see an influx of people from the United Arab Emirates. But Israelis are combining vacations in Israel and vacationing abroad. The reality is what's changed over the last few years is the prices of hotels in this country, the prices of restaurants in this country have gone through the roof. And yet, they're still bringing the Israeli tourists to their places. The hotels that we have in this country are far, far higher than they were 3-4 years ago. And yet tourists are still coming here. The bigger issue in terms of the tourism industry, though, is one of human people. We don't have enough people to man the hotels. We don't have enough people to drive the buses, to serve you in the restaurants, or as we've been seeing for the last 9 months, to even deal with the airports. This is a major issue, and if we want to try to bring the country up to the 2019 levels, we need a coordinated effort to train more people to work in the tourism industry.
Right, but of course, the problem is it's a cyclical industry, and we've heard people who have been out of work for 2 years. It's maybe hard to attract them to a business that, as you say, is so subject to the vagaries of, let's say, current events.
Yes and no. I mean, long-term, tourism has been on an upward scale for the last 10 years. We had a pandemic. I don't want to say it could never happen again in our lifetime, but we have to plan. We're building new properties, new hotels are opening up, Airbnb all over, staycations. So, yeah, it's an industry that can attract new people, and we can keep them. We can train them. We need qualified people. Part of it is an issue, Calev, of money. We have to pay more for these workers. We have to realize they are a valuable asset to our industry.
All right. Well, certainly that applies to the tourism industry, and it applies to a lot, and leisure industry, and applies to a lot of other industries as well. Mark Feldman, CEO of ZionTours, thank you for joining us on the Rundown.
Pleasure.